All right, everyone. I think we are live. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yay! Oh, sweet. I'm trying my new two-computer setup today. So awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Rebecca. I am an interior designer. I own Revision Custom Home Design here in Billings, Montana. So interior design handles all kinds of different projects. Today's project, the one that I'm getting started on here today, and hopefully I'll have time to stream this, is kitchen remodel. So this is a space in the house. It's actually taking a couple larger spaces and really reconfiguring them because this house has been added onto over the years. There's a section out back that used to be, I think, like a screen porch. It's now been fully enclosed. That's now the dining room, which meant that the formal dining room that still exists really serves no purpose. It's just sort of a pass-through room in between things, but there's really nothing even in there. And yet the kitchen is still small. So we're gonna knock out some walls. I'm not, but on paper I will. We're gonna knock out some walls. We are going to reconfigure a few things, not everything. A couple things will stay in the same spot, but we're just gonna expand, make this space make sense. She's not lacking for space. That's absolutely for sure. So anywho, so we're gonna get started on drafting this, and the first step in any of these projects is to do a site measure. So there we go. Yay. So here's my notebook. This is my awesome favorite Rocketbook notebook. Anyway, if you go to my website, you can find the link to purchase your own. These are amazing. I absolutely love them, but they're reusable. They use erasable pens, so it's really super easy. Only thing you gotta be careful is that you don't spill your water bottle on it before you get home and snap a picture, get it in the app. So we're working on, like I said, drawing up the as-built plan so that we can then go into the fun part, which is virtually knocking down those walls and figuring out how we want to propose the new space to look like. So we're going to start out here. We've got Chief Architect. I've already got the file pulled up. So we've got this saved. I'm just going to start drawing in some really rough numbers. It's not even that big. I'm way too zoomed in. All right. So we've got exterior wall. We've got another exterior wall. Another one. And then the house kind of goes off this way and this way. Essentially, the way the homeowner described this to me is that there's these two side houses, and then this kitchen dining space is the middle that connects the two, which is pretty accurate. Originally, actually, she said this house, and this is kind of true of a lot of houses here in Billings, or maybe not a lot, but there's definitely some. Frank Lloyd Wright had a lot of students that came out this direction and started their careers here and worked here. So this house was actually built by, or designed and built by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright. So that being said, not all of it's not extremely distinctively a Frank Lloyd Wright home, but there are definitely some kind of telltale, hints here and there. This midsection of the house has a fairly flat roof with some skylights. The side sections of the house have kind of a lower hipped section. The kitchen has a very low ceiling. The kitchen ceiling is only 6'11" tall. And Frank Lloyd Wright was very into these low spaces because he wanted things to be human scaled. He was not a tall human. So I feel right at home in that kitchen, but a lot of taller people would not. Now, unfortunately, raising the ceiling is not going to be an option because of flat roof and all that kind of stuff. So we know that that's not going to happen, but that's okay. We don't need to. Why am I getting this weird little... Huh. All right. Whatever. We'll come back and fix that. So anyway, right off the bat, this is the space I'm working on. And honestly, I don't even think I need... I'm not even going to show these because that really doesn't enhance the plan at all. It doesn't give us any extra information. So we're just going to do that. So out here I have what was added on years later, the old screen porch that's now fully enclosed. And then this wall that divides the two, I'm showing it as an interior 6 because it was the exterior wall. It was never removed and replaced. It was simply take the siding off and finish it for an interior space. So we wanted to show that. So now we got to start getting some of our dimensions in here. So I'll come up here, use my interior dimension tool, drag this across. Oh, and one more interior wall before I forget. Okay. Now, the interior dimension tool measures framing to framing, not drywall to drywall. And all of my measurements that I took on site are, of course, drywall to drywall. So when I'm doing my measurements, I always have to remember to add 1 inch from what I wrote down. So we're going to start off here. This room is 23 foot 10. So 23 foot 11 is what I'm going to type in. There we go. If I don't use my computer for too long, the number lock key turns off. Okay, so I know that those walls basically line up. Then, oh, we need to do... Okay, so that's that interior one. So now that is 13 foot 5, so 13 foot 6 is what we type in. Then over here in this dining room space, oh, and there it went to the, there we go. You always got to double check where your dimensions are catching. So 10 foot 11 and 13 foot 5, 13.6. Okay, so those are the basic measurements of the space. I will, of course, go back and verify. Oh, see, now that one caught to the inside too, or to the outside. So, what did I say? 13 foot 6. Okay. So we'll double check this here because the measurement that I have over here then for this remaining space, now there are a few other little things. So for example, there's a little chase or something in this corner. I don't know if it's a chase, if it's used as a closet up in the front room. I didn't double check this, but there is a little cutout here in the corner. And so we just need to double check a couple of these measurements. So from here to here, and then here I need my end-to-end dimension because I want to measure there we go. All right. So that is 2 foot 2, which according to my measurements over here, what I'm left with over here should be 10 foot 3.5, and I'm showing 10 foot 10. So what that means is somewhere along the way, there's some wall that's not fully lining up. My guess would be, I'm pretty sure from the photographs, and I'd have to pull them back and double check. I'm pretty sure from the photographs that this wall here lines up really well. So my guess is that this is where the offset is, over on this side, because there is, the kitchen comes in and there's a little bit of a jog. So I'm thinking that's where the small discrepancies. And that's the thing with these remodels is depending on what measurements you take or forget to take, it can really make a big difference. And sometimes you have to kind of use process of elimination to figure out. And see, we're not talking a big amount. Honestly, it could also be the difference between this wall being justified that way or this way. So I'm actually thinking that might make a difference. So I'm going to justify it so that it lines up. I want it to line up there, but no, hang on. Which would be a 2-inch difference. So I want not 10 foot 10, but 10 foot 8. Because then that justifies, see how on this side, oh, actually it's going to be 10 foot 8.5 because of drywall. Okay, so 10 foot 8.5. Sweet. So that, if you look over here, you can see where my mouse, that the blue line's coming off my mouse, they line up. So that's justified there. So now I can come over here, move this wall to where I said it was, readjust this one, and then this one should be 10 foot 4.5. And actually, that puts us right about perfect. See how then now this is justified within about 2 inches? I think that's going to be a pretty good, that's a good margin of error for an as-built plan that will then be verified by the contractor. So, and I always have a disclaimer on my plans, especially for remodels, saying contractor and all trades will verify on site. What I do, at least according to my insurance agent, is draw pretty pictures of what could be, and then the professionals, like engineers and contractors, are supposed to verify that. So, yeah, anyway, takes a little bit of the pressure off of me. You know, granted, I try to be as accurate as possible, but there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of all these exterior dimensions because those really don't make a difference for what I'm doing. They really don't. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these interior dimensions and move them out here. Like that. So we know that that measurement goes here and that connects. This comes here. And then again, this one was connecting to that side of the wall, and I want it to come here, and it should be 13.6. 13.5. I'm off by half an inch. Why? Okay. Okay, so I don't want that extra half an inch. Okay, so that's good. All right. So I've got my measurements around the perimeter. Oh, I just need to move this one out. Okay. And then we didn't measure on this little thing. Why is it not doing end to end? There we go. Sometimes you have to let it do what it wants to do and then go back and tell it what you want it to do. And then that one is just an even 2 foot. There we go. And that one, because the dining room doesn't matter as much in this case, I'm moving that dimension to the other side of the wall. So in this image, this right here, I'm going to call it the, well, I guess I'll call it the dining because that is what it is. So that's dining. This is formal dining. Okay. And then this is kitchen. Okay. Perfect. So now the next step is doors and windows. So this back porch has some exterior doors here. Now these are, being that this is an older house, those exterior doors were not a full 3 foot. They were actually, I believe I measured 2.6. And then they hinged inward like this. So I'm going to copy and paste. Change my hinge direction. Okay. Then we had a set of French doors here. And I'm going to change these. These are glass panel. And pretty sure, and this was kind of a bad thing. I did actually only estimate that those are 5 footers. I did not write down what they were. But based on the dimension of that wall, I normally would have thought they were 9 footers or a 6 foot, but then 6 plus that would have been too much. And since the other exterior walls, anyway, blah, 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 blah. But what I need to look at is the picture. Aha, here we go. Okay, so so it's 2 French doors that swing into the dining room, into the formal dining room space with a panel on one side. So I'm just scrolling through my pictures because I always take pictures when I'm on site. Okay. And then I'm going to do a window. This is going to be a fixed panel. It's going to be 30 inches wide, 80 inches tall. So that's our standard, basically just like a door. I don't know. I'm actually, you know what? Now that I'm seeing here, it might actually have been a larger one. So let me double check. Okay, so let's see what this looks like if it's a 6 foot door. And then that would also make this 36 inches. Oh yeah, so that's actually probably more correct. So I'm guessing there's about a foot there. And then this comes on over. There we go. All right. And then, hang on 1 second here. Okay, well, anyway. So then next up in the kitchen, we have a doorway. And that doorway is 8 foot wide. Technically 8'1", but okay. And it's 2'4" from the corner. Now, according to that, it makes that only 1'5" right here. Oh, that's what it's saying. My doorway is 8'8". Yeah. Because it has to be at least 2 foot because that's where the cabinet is. All right, well, we'll do it there. Oh, because it's measuring from the framing. That's why. Okay. Or the finish frame, finish molding. All right. So anyway, there is that. Now there's a few more doors. We have a pocket door right here. And it is 2'8", so 32 inches. And it actually hinges, or not hinges, but operates that direction. And it is 7 foot from the corner. Okay. Then we have also a 2'8" pocket door over here. Again, it operates from that side. And that one is pretty close here. So yeah, 2'2" roughly from the corner because we got the cabinets here. Then there is a doorway from the formal dining over here. This is 3'11". And it is 1'6" from the corner. And then lastly, there's a pair of French doors here. That hinge that way. Into the other kind of the formal living, TV room, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So originally the space back here that is the dining room right now, like I said, this right here is an exterior door. It was the previous back wall of the house. I'm assuming this doorway was carved in later. Technically the interior walls probably start right about here because those two parts of the house go that way. And then, so that's probably an interior wall there. Okay, well, I'm not going to change it at this point. I think we're looking pretty good. And since we're not changing those walls, if I don't draw them correctly in terms of what thickness they are, since we're not changing them, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now in the kitchen, I just need to show some of the cabinetry. We need a full height. Actually, I'm going to look up here, wall oven. I'm going to do a double. It's a double. I'm making my cabinet a little bit wider. I'm going to pop in my standard double oven really quick before I forget. I always seem to forget this until the first one I draw. Turning off my cabinet labels because those don't matter right now. So in the corner, there's a double oven. Then we have base cabinets. And a little one right there. We have a little mini sink. And we're just looking for like a single basin here in the library. Basically, this is the corner where she's got, this is a little secondary sink and she keeps her coffee pot there. Sorry, I upgraded my libraries recently, and so I have way more stuff here than I used to. Just gotta scroll until I find it. And of course, the minute I give up and try and type it in is when I'll just missed it. Come on, single basin. This was easier when I had less options. Which is why people hire designers in the first place, because there we go. All right. See, that was easy. All right. So that wall's done. Then there is a full height cabinet kind of right here. It's not gonna, I'm just gonna have to put it out here and slide it on in. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Then over on this side, and again, I'll have to look at my pictures here and see real quick. Okay, so then on that wall of the kitchen, it is okay, so there's an upright, a fridge, and then a small upper lower. Okay. So full height. Refrigerator. And then base, upper. There's an upper up above here. And this upper is 24. Okay. Then dishwasher. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. This comes here. So there's kind of this U shape here in the middle. And then she currently has a cooktop. There we go. Cooktop. All right. So let's move this where it's readable. We need a sink. Now, fortunately, I believe this double basin, double sink narrow, double sink wide, double undermount. Okay, so now I'm going to double check a couple of my dimensions. This. So our kitchen is actually deeper than the dining room. Haha. See, this is where some of that's okay. Must be. Because according to my measurements, 24-inch cabinet, 4'10", 24-inch cabinet, 4-foot walkway, 24-inch. So this little doodad over here must actually be, all right, because on the back side of this formal dining room, there's a series of bifold doors for a closet. Okay, so what we need to do here is to create a break in this wall here. We're going to drag this back a little ways. Oops, first I want to get my dimensions out of the way. Okay. So now this, we said it was 4'10" across. And then that is 3'11". So we need to move that out 3. Okay. And then this, because that was my pictures. I think that one was wider than a foot. Yeah. Definitely wider than a foot. Perfect. And then that doorway, yeah, 7 foot. That's correct. So that actually makes more sense now that I'm looking at these. And like I said, there's some bifold doors along that back wall. I didn't measure them, but I'll just put in a big... Okay. And then that's just closet space. So we know that that's correct. We know that that's correct. So when I run into discrepancies like this, I always go off of what is the most likely. So I look at my numbers, I look at what I measured, and I measured the overall length of the dining room. I did not measure the overall length of the kitchen, but I measured these individual chunks. So add it up. So I'm going to trust that measurement. All right. So going back and looking at everything I've got, 3'4.5". Oh. So it might even be bigger than that because... So how could that be? Because I'm showing this. And I have it drawn in here as about a 27-inch cabinet, just over 2 feet. According to my notes, I actually measured that at 3 foot 4.5. And that pocket door, which, yes, it's 7 foot from that corner, I had it 3 foot 9 from that corner. So I'm thinking I missed. So when I measured that 13 foot 5, I either wrote down the wrong number. Yeah, I had to have, because I have 2 separate measurements telling me that I've got a 3 foot element over here. So if I do that, okay, so wait, that's telling me I am 2 foot 4 to what? Okay, that I don't care about. So I'm going to delete that measurement. Okay. It's measuring, oh, never mind. Okay, so never mind. That is measuring to this inside corner. I want to measure over to here. Okay, so that's 3 foot 5. All right, perfect. Okay. Because if I have a string of 3 separate dimensions compared to one giant overall dimension, I'm going to trust that string more than I trust the overall. Okay, so I'm going to pull these dimensions out of here just so that they're out of the way. And then this little weird spot right here, I don't even know if I'll be able to draw it, but there is a half wall and then a raised countertop. But because there's already a doorway there, so here, if we come over here, after this doorway was put in, they went back and filled in the back side of this cabinet with a 40-inch high raised section and then added in a countertop. But because there's a doorway, nope, see, it's going to undo my door tool. So I'm going to have to do polyline solid to there. We're going to make it 41 inches tall. We're going to have it come to 41 inches. And then we'll do a custom countertop. At 42 inches tall. Okay. So then if we go back to that camera, that's correct. And the only thing, of course, then is the materials. There we go. Okay. And then the last detail to add here, just so the contractor knows that he's going to be demoing some cabinets. Over here, down this wall, oops, down this wall, and then over here on that wall, we do have some upper cabinets. So again, If you go back to our camera view, there you can see what that kitchen looks like. Now, the only other thing that I did not do, now this kitchen has a very low ceiling. So I'm going to go here into structure, which you can't see, unfortunately. My kitchen foot ceiling is 6 foot 11 inches. Kind of sucks. But it's not, it's not terrible. Now in the dining room, we actually have a very slightly sloped ceiling. It's 7'2" on one end, down here by the old exterior wall, and it's 7'5.5" on the top. So for the purpose of this plan, I'm just going to show it as 7'5.5". With the notation later that, yeah, it is not. And then the same thing out here. This kitchen, or this ceiling height out here is barely 7 foot. So there you can see much more accurately. There's about 3 inches there. So almost 87. Oh, wait. Oh, that didn't work out. There we go. Yeah, it's about 3 inches there. So there is what that looks like. Now all of the cabinets are oak. Did that cathedral pattern. So, and then the only other thing real quick, these are a fixed window. They are, I want to say 1'9" wide. And then on this exterior wall, okay. Okay. Nice and evenly spaced. The whole entire thing is windows. So if we're standing over here in our formal dining room, that's right. Of course, it's not black, but then you come out here and there's this big long room. And then you look over here and there's the kitchen. There's the pocket door that goes back into that dining room. All right. So that, yay, is our space. So I'm going to hit save. Let me just double check one last little look over my plan, make sure I don't have anything else that I've forgotten. I don't like to ever have to go back to my main plan and update it. Okay, skylights, lighting. There are skylights in this place. Yeah, all right. But I'm not going to call those out. They're not going to, we might close them off. We're not going to change the location. And then we're just going to add a lot of lighting. So lighting is going to be interesting because of that flat ceiling, we really can't do like chandeliers or anything. And that's not really the look we're going for. This particular client really likes a very clean Scandinavian look, which is a little modern, but I think it'll work really well because the whole Frank Lloyd Wright school was very much about very linear elements, very simple, very clean, not a lot of unnecessary frou-frou in terms of the details on the cabinets or things like that. And what the client wants here in the future, we're actually going to be getting rid of a lot of these upper cabinets and leaving space on the walls for artwork. So I'm actually really excited about that. So now, what I'm going to do now that I've saved my plan And I'm going to hit save one more time just to be sure. Save as proposed. Okay, so now I can start making changes to this plan. So the first thing I talked with the client about is getting rid of this raised bar. I think we might still leave the wall up about that high. We're going to leave the sink in roughly the same location. We're going to leave the dishwasher in roughly the same location. We are going to, well, we debated. We talked about open shelving, but also there's this really cool line of European cabinetry that has, oh, I don't even know what I'm blanking on the word. I was just an email from my cabinet gal. Tilt up. So a tilt up. So normal cabinets have a hinge and they open like that. Some cabinets, you would think they would have a hinge, but they actually have like arms. And so like the door, instead of like tilting like this, has these two little arms and it goes whoop, whoop, and it lifts up like that. And it's really cool. Very European, very clean lines, all that. So we did talk about possibly doing those on this wall instead of open shelving, or maybe a combination, maybe two closed and some open shelves in the middle. So, because you don't want too much out in the open. So then we want to get rid of the double oven. We want to get rid of the cabinet. Probably going to rotate this one like that. And we'll be getting all new cabinets throughout here. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. All these upper cabinets here will go bye-bye. Here we're going to scoot this over. Now, this we'll have to play around with a little bit because we need to figure out what's going to be the most functional use. I think the client originally had thought maybe having the fridge, let's see here, to the left of this secondary sink as we're looking at it. I honestly think to the right is going to look better. It does need a minor relocation of plumbing lines, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that's pretty minimal. Hold on. Additionally, that her big goal was to have this wall over here be open above with no upper cabinets so that she can hang artwork. And if you had the fridge in the middle of the wall, you'd be breaking all that up. Whereas here, I think this is going to be a better choice. This is that upper cabinet that was over the fridge. We'll still show that for now, just in case. And then all the rest of that space would be open. And then we had talked about moving this over. Oh, duh, the biggest thing. No more wall. And then this becomes, okay, how far is that from the corner? Hang on. About 8 inches from the corner. Okay. Becomes a doorway. That is 9 foot. Okay. So what this leaves us with here is this big giant space. So what we've done is we've gotten rid of the cabinet or the extended countertop that bumps into this dining room. We've gotten rid of this giant wall over here. So now this kitchen can open up and take over this dining room space. We have this little stretch of wall here, but that's not really too big of a deal. And you've got lots of space to get in and around here. And then we also got rid of the one butt kitchen by opening this up. So when you come in here, you can come in and enter the kitchen this way. Now, to still have a viable work triangle, so we've still got sink and dishwasher right next to each other. That works. The client likes that. We're going to leave it. This is the part that I've just got to kind of think about and figure out. I might recommend that we taper this back just a little bit. Move this sink over. But then it puts it kind of right in the corner. I don't really know if I like that. So let's make it a little narrower though. Let's make it 9 inches. And let's also make this maybe only 9 inches. So we're going to come back about 6 inches because, oops, it's not going to let me click on that thing. I want this opening to be just a little wider. And that gives us an extra 6 inches if we do that. Okay. So now the biggest thing is our stove. We've got to get the rest of this work triangle put back together. So what we were talking about doing is extending out and basically having a big long island here. On the one hand, I don't want to get in the middle of a walkway, but on the other hand, I kind of feel like, I don't know. This is weird. There's definitely a few weird things in this kitchen. And you know what? Maybe it would make sense. Okay. So, because you have to think about this functionally. So we'll talk through this a bit. On the one hand, yes, we like the sink and dishwasher location. Great. I like that there's a secondary sink far away for the coffee pot. Great. Moving the fridge over there, that kind of makes sense. Because otherwise, the only other spot for it would be, well, there's only 2 other spots that it would really work. One would be over here by this pocket door, but that would kind of ruin the clean look of this upper cabinet wall. Number 2 would be where we take this wall out. And so essentially it would be kind of the same location as before, but it would just be spinning. That might actually be kind of cool. And it does hide the fridge from the dining room. The purpose of this island is, number 1, to have cooktop, and it's actually going to be cooktop and oven all in one. We're not going to have the separate double ovens that were here previously. And then and then it's going to be a big giant space for buffet. And down at one end is where we're going to relocate bar stools that we got rid of by taking them away from the sink there. So we need to think about what's going to be the most viable work triangle. Now, I don't want to change, because this is a bearing wall. We know this was the exterior wall of the house at some point. We know that digging into it is going to cause issues with potentially expensive beams and posts and whatnot. So it's honestly, yes, we can get rid of the doors. We're still going to have a doorway. We're going to use the existing header. There's really nothing structural that we're changing there. Same with this 8-foot opening. We're just leaving the opening. But we have to think about where this is going to be the most viable. And I'm actually thinking, now that I'm looking at this, so over here's the bedrooms. You wake up in the morning, you roll in, here's your cup of coffee. Awesome. I'm thinking the fridge might look better over here. Or not look better, function better over here. And it's a little odd because it kind of is an island unto itself. So it's not something that I would normally recommend. But this is already kind of a weird space. Now, client will be purchasing a new fridge. They hate the fridge. The fridge came with the house. It's time to go. So that's going to go bye-bye. So I can recommend that we look for a shallower fridge so that we don't, because otherwise the walkway here gets really narrow. So then the next question is, what is going to be the most viable work triangle for all of these elements? And although this cabinet fits right here and gives you, a little over 4 feet on this side and 3.5 feet on that side, it's really not a good option to have a cooktop with no surface on either side for setting down your pots and pans. That's just kind of poor planning, it doesn't make it function well. Now, from a standpoint of being in the dining room and not being able to see a mess, turning it this way makes sense. And then having some cabinetry on the back side to kind of finish out your island makes sense. But from a work standpoint, if you're over here, you don't want to have to come around the edge here, especially if you've got your fridge and your sink over there. So now that would make sense if we moved it like that. And then put a cabinet here on the back. So let's do that and move this down to, no, hang on. There we go. And actually I think we like the cooktop, but then we want to do an oven in the base. Not a microwave. There we go. There we go. So now we have range and oven. Now the client did say the existing, or not the current cooktop, but the previous cooktop was a downdraft. So we already know that in the floor we have the necessary venting to do this. It's just a matter of reconnecting everything. So we're getting close. Now we want to add a cabinet down on this end. Okay. And I don't know that it needs to be a full 2. Let's do an 18 and scoot this over. Thought being, actually, if you're going to see it, I almost would rather see all of it so it looks a little more intentional. Plus, then you don't have, if you had 2 people in the kitchen, you don't have your back bumping into the fridge and vice versa. You want to have that little bit of an offset. And the same thing over to the sink. So we've got an 18-inch cabinet over here to the side. We've got that. We'll drag this out. And then I'm going to throw a few more cabinets on here, here, and here. And then down on this end, and I have this really cool inspiration image that I found that has a, so you've got your island. Oops, sorry, I'm going to tap the mic. You've got your island, and then as an extension of it, you have this stretch that's a waterfall that has space on the end for a couple bar stools. We're not looking at this to be a primary seating area, but people always want to hop down, have a seat, and join in the kitchen. So I think we want to give them a space for that. And it also, because this has the potential to be a very, very large island, it gives us a chance to break up the materials. So I could almost see this being something, we're trying to get rid of the dark orangey oak, whatever the cabinets are that are in there right now. We do want to get rid of that. But there is a stretch of butcher block in the kitchen right now, and I love butcher block. So I could almost see, like, this section of the island that I have currently, I can almost see that section of the island being done in butcher block, although that's a huge chunk of it. And then having the section that we add on the end being of a waterfall of a quartz or something like that. I think that could be really amazing. So I kind of I want to draw it like that. Yeah. Okay. So I want to do a custom countertop here. Going there. I'm going to come out here. I want to make it 6 foot. And then because I'm doing the change in materials, I want to make it very obvious that we've got this little extra thickness. So I don't want to set my thickness from, or my height from the cabinet. I'm going to make it an inch taller, 37. And I'm also going to make it a 2-inch material. So we'll see what that looks like. And then let me see if I can edit this the way that I want, or if I have to use a polyline. Okay, I don't see the option that I want. So I think I'm going to have to do that. So let me use my Polyline tool. I'm going to come down here. No, I don't want the camera yet. Polyline. And okay. And I don't want it out of concrete. I want it out of a countertop. So colors, concrete decking. Stone slab. Okay, granite, limestone, marble. All right, we'll show it as marble for now. And then if I go back to my camera here, I'm going to use my materials to copy and paste there. Okay, then what I want to do, okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. This countertop over here, I wanted it to be materials, countertop. There we go. And then I'm just going to use my little copy and paste tool. Okay. And then I'm going to use that same copy and paste tool to make these cabinets. Oops. Okay. Make our appliances all the same. Make our sink the same. Okay. Okay. Excellent. And then we don't like this crown. We want to actually, I wonder for cabinets, let me see what I can find here. Hinge top. Yeah. Okay, so hinge top. And then we also want to get rid of the crown. Deleting the crown. I feel like this room is too tall all of a sudden. Why is the room too tall? What happened? And we're not wanting, okay, so hang on a second here. Oh, when I reopened it, okay. Structure. This room is 6'11". So remember I mentioned the kitchen and the dining room. The kitchen was 6'11". The dining room was 7'2" up to 7'5". It had kind of a slope. We're just gonna have to do 6'11" across the whole thing because we can't change the roof up above. Why? (6'11", 83. Why is that so tricky? Okay. Yeah, see? And then hardware, where is it? Oh, here we go. Door handle. And if it's a 24, actually, we want to do none. There we go. All right. So there we go.
Come on, Yeetna. You have to come up. Edna. Come on. Up, up, up.
I almost think we might be better off instead of doing fully enclosed. Let's move this over. Let's get rid of this, get rid of this. Let's make this 30. Make that 30. And then I want to do some shelves. Yeah. Do the doors. Fish floor to the bottom is 54. Floor to the bottom is 54. Floor to the top is 75. There we go. Okay. So there's what that wall could look like. So we'll have a couple flip-up cabinets at the ends just for the few little things that are kind of messy you don't want to have on display. Shelf here in the middle. That up an inch. There we go. Okay. Like that. Oh. All right. And then we would make sure, so with the cabinets here. Like I said, I'm normally not a huge fan of that, but I'm kind of liking that in this space. We'd make sure to look for a shallow fridge, and then I would also specify end panels here. Okay. So we'd have a cabinet up above that fridge. The fridge would sit in there. And so it almost, like from this angle, it almost looks like the fridge is sort of just floating right there, dividing it. But then over on the other side, as we're looking at it here from the dining room, That's all you'd see. That's actually really cool. So here we go. We've got this really neat waterfall. Honestly, I think we could probably fit, I don't know, like I want to do this waterfall 4 foot, 6 foot. Let's move this down 2 more feet. And then let's copy and paste this. Okay. Yeah, I think that fits a little better scale-wise. Oh, how cool is that? So it's almost like its own little table, and then you put bar stools there. So let's find some bar stools.
What's that in here? Mom.
It is a big wad of melted gummy.
Big melted gummy. It's a
So we want something kind of modern looking because this, like I said, this is a modern
Is
space.
it big melted gum? Is it big melted?
That's kind of cool. So maybe let's do 4 of those. Okay, these 2 need to be, oh, is that the front or is that the front?
Can you not hear your voice?
And then yep, so there we go. We've got those stools. I like that we've closed off that just enough. Yeah. And then we've got all that space back there. We've got all this space back here for some really cool art. We can do something really cool here. Yes, you see that oven and cooktop, but I actually kind of like that. I think that works. You've got the working part of the kitchen here. Oh, that sticks up, but yeah, I'm liking this a lot. So then as you move through the space, that's kind of what you see. Yay! And maybe we do skip the cabinet here because if you do a hinge, you can do it right up to the ceiling. If you do the lift, you'd have to have somewhere for that cabinet door to go, and that's the only thing there. So maybe that's an open cubby, or maybe we just leave that empty. I just hate leaving fridges floating. So if you do cabinets, at least. So maybe what we could do is maybe we could do the really cool lift up on the other 2 cabinets, and maybe that could just be a hinge, and no one would know the difference unless they're opening it. At the moment, I believe the lady, I don't know, anyway. She entertains a lot, but it's mostly her just using the kitchen. So I love this. Okay, so hang on. Okay. I'll look at that in a minute. All right, so I'm thinking though it is about time for me to be done for the moment. Oh, this is so cool. Look at this. Yay. Oh, actually, I did want to possibly the other thing. Yeah, I know. I just said I'm wrapping up. Back off. Okay, so yes, we are wrapping up. We are looking good here. The only other thing that we had possibly considered is maybe some kind of colored cabinetry. And I would probably mix it up a little bit. I'd probably maybe do like the island and those uppers in the white. And then I might do the perimeter in a different color. So really super quick. Materials, here we go. Cabinets. And I'm just going to go straight to generic colors. Kind of leaning towards a green in this space and kind of emeraldy, slightly sagey. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, this could be really cool. And so again, we'll just I'll be done in a minute. So I'm just really quick going around the room, slapping on this paint. All right. Not going to worry about baseboards right now, just her toe kicks. But ooh, look at that. So you do the island and those uppers in the white. You do a really cool marble or white quartz. And then you do a butcher block with a white for where that is. You've got a really great space for cooking, for prep, for buffet. You've got space on the end for this. And then your dining room is out there. And the dining room is great because she actually has 2 dining room tables that can either go end to end for to be super long, or they can push together sideways and make a square table, which is great for puzzles and things. So holy cow, I am loving this kitchen. Yay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I am going to wrap up for the day, but be sure like, comment, share, tell your friends about this video, tell your friends about this channel, and I hope to see you the next time I'm here. So have a wonderful night.